Everyone, welcome back to the Marvel Snapcast podcast. How you guys doing? Episode 110, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a lot. That's a long time to be doing this wonderful stream. You all right over there, buddy? You okay? You don't know who this is?
Yeah,
of course.
No, I'm curious.
Hey,
I just see this random new white guy.
He just showed up.
I'm like, I don't know, man.
That's not Cino? I thought that was Cino. It's all good, though.
I'm pretty sure.
Welcome on in, guys. I'm Ken, a.k.a. the Super Tech Guy, the gentleman with every variant in the game. And, of course...
Every variant? God
every
damn it.
Every variant. That's right. Yeah, listen, I stopped at of course just for you to get in there and say that of course you go every variant? That's what it's supposed to be. Come on, man. 109 episodes, we were perfectly fine. 110, you got to mess it up. We start this whole thing over again?
Me?
Ladies and gentlemen, we start it over again.
Nope,
Welcome.
Start. No. Just go. Just go. It's the moment's over. You killed it. It's dead. Don't try to pass this off. They will let us know in the comments.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Guest Gaming is here as always, doing what he does best. And of course, we have Gunny T, where the T stands for Phenomenal Tournaments. How you guys doing? Good evening. How you guys been today, man?
It's been a really good day. I got to hang out with my daughter some. I actually skipped out on work today. Took a little day to myself.
Okay.
I was telling Ken this before we started the podcast, but my daughter's 7 years old, and something I've been waiting for forever with her is we just started playing Dungeons and Dragons together. So that's so cool.
There you go.
She's so creative. She loves creative writing. She has a great imagination. So it is something that we're going to bond over. So today we did a little daddy-daughter project. We're making a table for us to play Dungeons and Dragons on with our figures. We went to the local game store this past week and got her her miniature for her character. So she's super excited. She keeps talking about it all the time. We got books that we've been watching, TV shows and movies around adventuring and Dungeons and Dragons type stuff. So very cool. Very excited about that.
That is amazing. That's good stuff. Can't wait to see the awesome pictures and awesome things you guys do with that wonderful board that you built. Yes, how about you? I know you're streaming right now. You had a long day, huh?
Okay. It happens. I mean, every now and then we do longer days. You know, it's just, what it is. And I like doing the podcast live if we get the chance to. Just because if people want to be here when we record it, they can. If they want to watch it on YouTube or catch it tomorrow, for example, on Spotify or whatever, they can. Everybody gets to enjoy the content however they wish. And, we've been doing this long enough that, we feel comfortable enough with our rhythm, minus, trying to figure out something as basic as sound for a podcast, but, it is what it is. If you saw it live, you know what happened.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I've had a long day, but I've had a good day. And that's why I'm having dinner while we're recording, because I can, and we have a lot to talk about and a lot to go over, and I've got Gunny, so I can pass off while I have a French fry.
There you go. I love that. Yeah, you're right. We have a lot to talk about. Kicking things off with, of course, the wonderful OTAs that dropped not too long ago. Kicking things off with Sunspot. Sunspot was a 1-1. I think we mentioned this on a podcast episode some time ago. We said we can't wait to see that Sunspot will actually go to 1-0. And they actually did it. We feel that is, of course, because of the wonderful Invisible Woman first steps. I'm bugging out right now. We'll talk about her later on in the wonderful podcast. But nonetheless, Sunspot going to a 1-0. Not upset. I just wish they took that 1 point and moved it over to the Infinite, but it's all right. It's okay. Sunspot needed to get a little bit, tamed down after the wonderful big sunspots we've been seeing. I'm surprised nobody's playing Killmonger these days. Nonetheless, 1-0, not too bad. Gunny, how do you feel about Sunspot taking a 1 point loss?
It's an interesting change. Obviously, it makes a big difference in that one deck. I don't think, without the Invisible Woman, I don't think it deserves it, right? I don't think I ever lost to a Sunspot and was like, oh my god, I can't believe Sunspot. But I think anytime a character can lose a point of power and not really affect its play rate, it's worthwhile. So that helps. Yeah. Again, anytime a character loses power but doesn't affect its play rate, it helps because other lower powered things that are not being played maybe get a little bit more of a chance to shine. So we'll see how this affects
how about
it.
You?
Sorry. No, go ahead. Finish, Gunny. Sorry.
No, that was it. Just we'll see how this affects its long-term run, especially in decks that are not playing Invisible Woman. That's where I'm really concerned with it. Like the Dracula dump type stuff, that's a really good deck and uses Sunspot quite well.
Fair. I think that this more so is, and they kind of highlight it by saying high Evo, right? Fantastic car, high Evo. It's kind of really gotten a good push as of recent for Sunspot to be relevant again, and Nebula just kind of goes by the wayside. As when you play Evo previously, it's like, well, which one do you take, or do you play both? And now it's always been, yeah, okay, fantastic car, and especially now with Invisible Woman, first steps, yeah, absolutely, you play Sunspot. I think that this is a result of a compaction of a bunch of different things over time, but in the deck that sees Sunspot go through its top end, which is the Invisible Woman deck, I think this is a meaningless change. 1 power does not change the value of what this card brings in that deck when you get it to do +3, +4, +5 twice in 1 turn. However, exactly to what you're saying though, decks that are not running Invisible Woman first steps see a major power removed if you're not playing into it with Invisible Woman. Because as we see with 1-drops, it's the cost that has the most effect whenever you adjust a power. Look at the power of how good something like Silver Sable and Bob were when they had 1 more power added to them. At that cost, 1 power means a lot. And in every other deck, minus the top end of that deck, this is going to be a very impactful change, which really sucks, because I think this was made out of fear of what we've already seen could be potential. And again, remember, they always do these changes far in advance. They test these changes. So this has clearly been in the pipe work for a while. Now with Invisible Woman being here, I want to know, was this more so a proactive change because of the scare of Invisible Woman that they wanted to make? Or was it really that busted prior to Invisible Woman that they felt that this was worthy? That's what I'd be most curious about.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the combo of both, right? I think seeing Fantastic Car and Invisible Woman hit this card and it gets to big numbers, like in one, power 23, 20 something plus power is kind of crazy. So I think them seeing this in the pre-release of it was like, you know what? Let's see if everybody starts using Sunspot to that ability, and then we'll see what happens. And then of course it happened, and they were like, all right, we got to make this change. But nonetheless, I agree with both of you. I think only in the decks without Invisible Woman will this be a problem for Sunspot. But with Invisible Woman, getting additional power anyway, I think is a bit too much regardless. So,
Tech, can you zoom in on the notes a little bit?
Can't see it? I got you.
Thank you. Nice.
There we go. Beautiful. Hey, look at that. Right. We can read things now here on YouTube. All right.
There you go. All right. Then we go on to Gwenpool now. Gwenpool was a 4/6. She was doing big things after, that wonderful nerf to her counterpart, which is Galacta. Everybody was like, all right, well, Gwenpool it is. We're just going to rock Gwenpool out. And then Gwenpool got hit with that bullet as well. She goes down from a 4/6 to a 4/5. Now, listen, we knew cards like Doom 2099 is also going to see a lot of change. A lot of play now because of Invisible Woman first steps. So we knew Gwenpool needed to kind of get tamed, and that's exactly what they did. Making a 4/5. Listen, in reality, nobody's playing Gwenpool for her power, right? They're paying her for that wonderful ability that she has, giving cards 3 times +2 power. So for me, I think this is not a bad change. Gwenpool is still going to get played in those decks that she is played in, and that additional loss in power won't be too much of an issue. Benny, how you feel about this change?
So I think I might disagree with you just a tiny bit there.
Please do.
I think a point of change really does matter. And again, I don't think it's going to affect its play rate negatively. My same statement I made before stands. A point of power off a good card is a good thing if it can afford to lose it. But that being said, I do think with Gwenpool pumping other things, there are times where I think you might feel that 1 point of power actually coming off Gwenpool, because there's a lot of times where that deck is spreading out its power so much that might actually matter, that 4/5 body, just a little bit more. So I'm curious to see how many times that 1 point of power is really going to matter in the lane that you're playing her in. Because a 4/6 is pretty darn good stats with no real drawback, right? And the card has only real upside to it, so it should be a 4/5.
But in most cases, when you do play Gwenpool, same thing with Galacta, you're playing him in a lane that you're not really planning to win. That's why I feel that that loss in power might not be too bad. But I agree with you. Her being a 4/6 was definitely something that you really considered.
Well, I mean, unlike Gwenpool, or sorry, unlike Galacta, you can still play like Broods into that lane. You can still play, your buffed up Sebastian Shaw into that lane. Whereas, with Galacta, sorry, you do need to play into the other lane. So I think she's a little bit less affected than Galacta was.
That's fair. All right, guess how do you feel about Gwenpool's change?
I lean more towards tech on this one, that this doesn't hurt as much. I think that this one, when you play Gwenpool specifically, more often than not, you're aiming for cards that have multiple effects based off of those +2s that get joined on. Mr. Sinister, Sebastian Shaw, Brood. So you're getting more than just that +2 on each of those cards. You're getting, needless to say, a hell of a lot more. Yeah. I agree that you're normally playing Gwenpool, typically in a lane that you're more likely to throw. But worst case scenario, I very often would end up seeing situations where I dropped Gwenpool just on turn 6 as a 4/6 body or a 3/6 body that was reduced down because Surge and and Mr. Fantastic First Steps just dropped it down to a 3. And I took Gwenpool to Infinite with Silver Surfer this season, and it definitely was a very impactful card many, many times, but more so because of what it hit with the exponential piece to it. I would rather have seen Gwenpool hit 2 cards in your hand. Well, instead of 3 times, have it be 2 times. Instead of +2, have it be +3. I would have rather seen the lower chance with the higher power rather than adjusting Gwenpool itself. So kind of give it like the Ironheart style effect.
Right.
I think that's more of a substantial nerf, but really makes the card a lot more interesting to work with, because then you're starting to think about, your hand size and how important that is with this versus just 3 opportunities to throw it out there. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the future. But I'm not surprised that they finally chopped the power off it.
Yeah. All right. And we're going over to Dormammu. Now, Dormammu's very interesting. So Dormammu now was a 7/11. Now he is a 7/10. All right. And of course, his ritual spell, however, went down in cost from a 3 cost to a 2 cost. I'm pretty happy about that one more than anything else, because I do believe those wonderful spells need to get a little bit cost reduction. So I'm happy it went from a 3 to a 2 cost. What do you guys feel about that, Gunny? How do you feel about Dormammu and his change?
I think Dormammu having that spell cost 2 is going to be pretty dangerous. I think Shang-Chi is going to be making... I've already seen it in some of the Destroy decks, and it surprises me. Normally, when I'm playing against Destroy, I can just count Shang-Chi out. But I have seen a resurgent in Shang-Chi. So now I think some of those decks are going to be playing Shang-Chi, so they can play their Dormammu spell, win a lane with that, use their Shang-Chi to win another lane. It's pretty dangerous. I think that's going to be a pretty big combo. I can't think of any other 4 cost in that deck that I'm really scared of. But I do think Shang-Chi and that 2 cost ritual is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I think any 4 costs that's powerful enough. And that 2 cost is going to be a problem. I'm just thinking,
like what 4 costs in that Destroy style deck do you think we really need to worry about?
In a Destroy style deck?
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing really.
Right? Because your backup is playing Null, right, in that deck. So you already are looking like you would like to play a Shang-Chi, because if you're not getting your Dormammu stuff off, you can play your Null in one lane, right, and then again win, just guarantee you're going to win that Null lane. Because sometimes you have those games where your Null's only at like 9 power or so, whatever.
Yeah.
So then last turn on like turn 5 or something, you play that Shang, buff that Null up even higher. Yeah, I think Shang is going into Destroy now because of this change right here.
That's perfect. Guess how do you feel about Dormammu's change?
So this was one of the changes that I was most excited for as I read it. I said Dormammu having that 2 cost final play is going to be absolutely insane. And it was one of the first things I tested. I brought it into Grand Arena and really had a lot of fun. I will say confidently, Irby as your champion with Dormammu style deck, it is so stupid fun. So stupid fun. Dormammu decks for Destroy, similar, on par with what Gunny's talking about. Destroy has always kind of been like the redheaded stepchild, where it's just kind of constantly there, but constantly forgotten as a potentially good deck. Between this change and another change later on that we'll talk about, I think that we could very much so see a major resurgence in Destroy being a top 5 or even top 10 or even 5 deck because of these types of changes. And they're not major ones. They're just little power, 1 or 2 little things here and there, but it absolutely beyond adds up. I think that this is a very good card now. Even with the power nerf off of it, it's fine because, I mean, you're adding so much power to it anyway that it's 3 cost in total to get out a 16 plus power card, like regularly, if not more. And now that Kid Omega is available to everybody in snap packs for tokens, get ready to see a lot more Dormammu than you ever did during the week that he even came out.
Yeah, that's perfect. I agree. Then we go on the Black Cat, which I am happy about, but I think they could have kept her 1/6. I mean, her downside of being able to be in your hand, and if she's in your hand, being discarded, I don't think warranted her to go down to a 1/5.
Oh, yeah.
The 1/6 would have been perfect. You think it warranted? I understand because she's a 1 cost. She can play it on any turn. So having a 1/6, but I mean, at the end of the day, she's a 1 cost. It's definitely a lot of disadvantage of her being a 1 cost now, right? Killmonger, nobody plays Electra but Electra. And of course, you look at the fact that if you're not playing her on curve or you don't have enough energy, you don't want to play her, she gets discarded out of your hand. So I think the 1/6 would have been fine. But 1/5 is great too. I'm happy for it. Because now that also gives Hela another card in her arsenal that can be discarded and not have to worry about, right? Now we go to 1 cost. Now we get something else for the 2 costs in the place of it. So I'm happy for this change nonetheless. Black Cat is great. How about you, Gunny? How you feel about Black Cat and her change?
I agree. I think this is an exciting change. It really takes, like, playing a 1/5 is great. So you can play this in a deck like any kind of zoo deck or something you want to play. Your 1-drops out there. You can normally find room to fit that in as long as it's not turn 5, really. So the drawback there isn't as great. But even in Hela, like you just said, there are times you're discarding 2 costs. I'd like to bring back a Lady Sif that I happen to discard or something, right? There's no 1-drop that you're normally discarding that your Hela can bring back, and now we have a great target for it. So not only does it boost up just being able to play a 1/5 if your deck can fluctuate and play the card whenever it's drawn, or in Hela, it's a win all the way around. I think it's a fun card. I'm not mad about this at all.
Perfect. Guess how you feel about it?
I think we're going to see way too much Black Cat in the very near future because decks will adjust to being able to have this card be drawn and played automatically. If we saw anything from the success of Surge, which was the idea of draw it and play it immediately, decks have already started to move towards that idea. So people know how to play that. If you told me I have the potential option to draw a 1/5 safely and then use the rest of my hand and then play it down at the same just immediately, I got it, drop it down. I mentioned it earlier with Bob and Silver Samurai. Silver
Sable. I got you.
Silver Sable. Thank you. Wrong Silver. Silver Sable. When they were 1/5s, they were respected as the best 1-drops in the game. This is a 1/5. Your only caveat is you have to play it. Oh, damn. That is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. I think that this is going to be in a lot more decks. Even Dormammu decks might want to play Black Cat because it's a 1/5. Granted, Martyr's probably better, but you theoretically could, is what I'm saying. And I think that the argument about this being good for Hela, this is the exact same argument as it being a 2/6. Except this is now worse for Hela. It's the same argument. Because you weren't bringing back other two costs for Hela decks.
You now can,
Black Cat. Okay, you can, but it's not substantial enough to say that it's making a major impact in that deck where now it's an even better deck, in my opinion.
Well,
I don't think
I hear you, but the 1 cost, there was no 1 cost we were discarding in Hela.
Yeah, if you basically you'd have to hope on like a full removal or like a Corvus that happens to get rid of one, or a MODOK and you just top deck. Like that would have been the real scenario to make that happen. However, on the other end of it, with it being a 1/5, this does open a unique door. Somebody in my chat brought this up today. It opens up a very unique door. Ghost Rider is also a 5 power card.
Cerebro
5 discard. That's right, we said it. So let us copium, all right? But
there it is.
But outside of that, no. I do think that this is a really, really good 1-drop now. And I think that with the right build, any deck that you would have thought about Bob, rethink Black Cat.
I agree. That's a good point.
Besides your end of turn deck.
End of turn. Yes.
No, this is
no.
No, I think
because Bob is better. Really? Bob gets the love. Why would you?
Because most end of turn decks with Invisible Woman are also running a Fantasticar, and this is better than Bob by 1 point.
Okay. Yeah, because she's end of turn. That's really.
If you Fantasticar, then
it's a 1/7.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. So yeah, it is end of turn.
She's end of turn. That's why.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So she gets that. Yep. Then we have two cost cards. They got some love. Invisible Woman now goes from a 2/3 to 2/4. Domino goes from a 2/3 to a 2/4. Now, the Invisible Woman change, I'm happy for that. Shout out to that, because I love the Invisible Woman. So I'm happy she got that buff and power. Does it matter? Maybe a little bit. We'll see. Domino, that's interesting. Now you get a constant 2/4 in your hand every game playing Domino. That's pretty good. So I think this is a great change for both these cards. They both needed some love. I would love to see one of them go a little bit higher, maybe Invisible Woman, but nonetheless, I'm happy with both these changes. Gunny, how you feel about the Invisible Woman Classic being a 2/4 and Domino getting some love being a 2/4?
I don't think Invisible Woman could be a 2/5. That's too much. Domino I could possibly see, because you're having to draw it, right? But I don't think Invisible. So the Invisible Woman one is interesting though, because I think, there's decks that obviously take advantage of it, but the Sarah Control style deck, that deck is always struggling with points. So this might actually help that deck some, winning some of those lanes, right? Because you're hoping that your tech is what's going to win you that game, and those points tend to be pretty close. So the Invisible Woman going up there matters. Domino, I mean, doesn't really see a lot of play. It saw some play during the Wiccan days. I don't think 2/4 is enough to make normal decks just want to play it to guarantee they're going to get a 2/4 out. I'd rather be playing Surge. I'd rather be playing, Mr. Fantastic, something like that on 2. Not a Domino that I'm guaranteed to draw, unless you're trying to do some Wiccan stuff. But even then, I think we've figured out the formula there, playing Quicksilver and those 2 drops I just talked about, as well as some others. Really you don't need a Domino in that deck.
All right. Guess how you feel about these changes?
You mentioned Wiccan for Domino, and I do think that there is actually now an argument that Domino may end up serving equal, if not better value than Quicksilver. Because the way Domino works is you'll never draw it in your opening hand. So that means it's an 11 card deck and you draw 4 cards. If you're drawing 4 cards, automatically it's a 4 out of 11 chance. So if you had something in your deck that could justify being drawn earlier and would be more beneficial for you for priority on Wiccan decks, you're going to want to take advantage of that. If only we had a 1/5 that you would want to draw and play on turn 1 and increase that. Oh, wait, we do now. I think you've seen a lot of Wiccan decks that also take advantage of things like Quinjet, where they'll play just Quicksilver and Quinjet, and you see the Essen builds, or you see other variations like this. I think those are the decks that will benefit from Domino, because they want to play more 1-drops. And if you have 3 1-drops in your deck, not including Domino, your percent chance to draw a 1-drop on turn 1 has always been 75%. It's just the math of how it works up. If you have 3 in your deck, you have a 75% chance on your opening hand to draw a 1-cost card. However, if you add Domino into the mix, now a more powerful Domino, that goes even higher. So I think that there's an argument for the chance of getting something like a Black Cat. You could justify playing a Domino now, similarly, for the better stats. You play like Quinjet. Like if you did a Moon Girl Quinjet style build, for just throwing out an example, you throw out Black Cat, Quinjet, and Bob. Those are your 3 1-cost cards. You have almost an 80% chance to draw one of them on turn 1, plus a guaranteed Domino on turn 2. The only thing you have to then focus on is your 3 costs, and you've already drawn another card. So I think there is a way to do it. I want to test it. I want to build with it. Invisible Woman, good for her. But Domino actually interests me a lot more, because I think, similar to what I said about the 1 cost and the 1 power here, 2 cost is your next closest, where 1 power does make a dramatic difference. I think it's worth testing.
I even think just stacking with Domino and Quicksilver and just putting a bunch of 3s in your deck, because you're getting that Wiccan hopefully on 4, and then on turn 5 you're dropping down, multiple 3s. Right, that could be powerful too.
We all can agree ramp is the new hotness, right? And I believe this is why Mobius
cost reduction.
Yes, cost reduction. Oh yeah, yes, correct. And for some reason, Mobius got a buff. I mean, it makes sense now, right? Mobius going from a 3/3 to a 3/4. Don't think he needed it, but guess what? He got it. Ladies and gentlemen, you weren't playing Mobius before, play it now. It hurts my heart. I like the She-Hulk Infinite package. The fact that now She-Hulk will see less play or be damaged by this wonderful Mobius hurts my heart. But nonetheless, Mobius getting a 3/4. Always when cards get power buffs, we should be happy about it. But for me, I'm not happy with this change. Gunny, how do you feel about Mobius going to 3/4?
I love me some Mobius. I love 3/3 Mobius. 3/4 Mobius is even better. You know what this change reminds me a lot of, though? Shadow King. When Shadow King went from a 2/2 to a 2/3, it was kind of like a, hey guys, do you remember this card? Remember how good it is? So we'll see. Because Mobius is just such a good card. It's so hard sometimes to play a Mobius, because a lot of times you're not seeing the effect on your opponent when you play the Mobius. Obviously, they're just playing a normal game. But I know on the receiving side of having a Mobius played against you, whenever you're trying to do some of those power or cost reduction shenanigans, like you feel it. You feel when your opponent plays a Mobius. So you just got to kind of remember that. You got to put Mobius in your deck. I'm telling you, more decks just need to play Mobius. You will benefit from that greatly.
Only pixie decks, but okay.
Oh man, my favorite my favorite play is I see a turn 2 either Ravonna or a Psylocke, and I get the snap. I'm like, oh, this is a negative deck. Cool. Turn 3 Mobius.
Oh my gosh, Shadow Dreams. Guess how do you feel about it?
3 of the top 8 most popular cards in Infinite are cost reducers. That's why this is getting a buff. Instead of changing the season pass, Mr. Fantastic First Steps, instead of changing Surge in mechanic or power, or again changing Zabu in some weird way, they opted to just remind people Mobius exists. I think that's annoying, but completely justified. It was never on my radar, because it's just a good card. But as we've seen, and they've expressed this in interviews before too, and in team answers, sometimes changes are made to cards just to remind people that they exist, or to just temporarily back people off from playing them, even if it's only for a little while. That's exactly what happened with Mobius getting to 3/4. It sucks for those who play the most popular cards, Mr. Fantastic First Steps and Surge. Yes, it removes those negative costs. It ruins those 4-cost plans for Zabu. Absolutely. But a lot of decks are doing setup on turn 3 and setup on turn 5 for whatever their big splash plays are going to be on 6. For that reason, Mobius has been getting a lot of cuts, especially in the combo style decks. So this is a needed change that people don't realize we need, just because we've been complacent with seeing so much cost reduction.
All right, that's fair.
I've been playing a lot of deck that I call Trixie Pixie, and
yeah,
it's a
of
Pixie
course.
deck. And I just run Mobius in there.
Yeah.
And then
You need to.
Good.
You need to. That Pixie with Mobius, Moon Girl is just beautiful. So beautiful. Then we have a card that finally got some love. You know why? Because we got a variant for Agony. That variant is phenomenal. Shout out to Creative House Pocket. And Agony goes from a 1-2 to a 1-3. Now, these one-cost cards, as you guys mentioned earlier, getting a lot of love. And I know Guest was talking about this card when he mentioned Destroy. Agony now with a 1-3. This is bananas, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful change. Platinum, diamond, all around. I love Agony becoming a 1-3. I'm happy with this. That's all I got to say about that. Gunny, how do you feel about Agony?
This is kind of crazy. This thing is kind of crazy, right? So a 1-3 is already pretty premium stats, right? And now there are so many homes for this. Not only Destroy, put that on a Deadpool, getting that Deadpool up to 8 the first time you destroy it. Crazy. But think about even playing this with like a Captain Carter style deck, right? Play down the Agony on turn 4, play down the Agony first, then play Captain Carter on top of it. It adds 3 points of power to anywhere, and it doesn't eat up a lane spot for you. Like, it's a great 1-drop just to have in your deck. Like, play it down, don't worry about it. And then on top of that, it's going to merge, so it's not even going to be Killmongered as long as you're playing it on something that's also not a 1 cost. Man, this is a cool change. And then I don't know if I think Roram made the deck, but Destroy taking Kid Omega into it. Kid Omega gets the buff retroactively if it destroys a Deadpool. So whatever it goes back to your hand as, almost like the Apocalypse effect with Dracula. Oh, yeah, that's nasty. And now, and again, I just think Agony's going to find more homes other than just Destroy now with it being a 1-3.
I agree.
Like, even think about a Lasher. You play a Lasher on top of this. That's already what?
2-5.
6 points? Is it Lasher a 2-2 or is it 2? It's a 2-3, right?
It's a 2-2.
Okay, so anyways, 5 points of power on that alone, and then if you do any kind of crazy buffs to it later, like, it's a good card. This is going to be cool.
Agreed. Guess how do you feel about Agony?
Hulkbuster's dead, basically. I think this card just Agony now going to 1-3 versus Hulkbuster as a 2-3. You almost always want to play Agony. In Deadpool decks, Agony is the new hotness. Plain and simple. You play because the scaling exponentially, as you know about Deadpool, is so dependent on getting those destroys to happen as soon as possible. This allows you the option to start buffing and destroying by turn 3, which doesn't get to happen very often with the Deadpool decks. You want to destroy on turn 3, but typically you're destroying on turn 4 because you do Deadpool, get it on down, eventually get the Hulkbuster down onto Deadpool, and then destroy it. So that process, sure, you get 3 exponential, multipliers, not exponential. You get 3 multipliers on there, but now you can get a 4th one relatively easily, and it's higher. I think that Deadpool's going to make a comeback because of this. And I expect to see this as now a staple in C3. It might bring C3 over the top to being competitive with C2. And the reason you didn't see C2 run Agony was because it didn't have a spot for it. C2 is pretty defined. You've got so many spots on the board and cards that multiply out, like Mr. Sinister and Brood. There was literally no room to play Agony. As a C3 card, it absolutely will be made a spot. I think it has more than a home there. I'm very curious to see how people start messing with Agony outside of that. Like Nimrod, as we talked about, I think is going to be a beneficiary of this as well. I see some cards in the future that are going to really benefit from this next season. I think this is a change to be weary of, and I think that we'll regret later on.
Fair enough, because I'm thinking about for sure. I'm thinking Psylocke and Agony on turn 4, Infinite turn 6 in the lane with Agony, 23 power Infinite, She-Hulk somewhere else. That's the kind of decks I'm talking about. Points. I'm just saying, this is the kind of deck she's going to run into, Kale or whatever. But nonetheless, we're going to the next card here. This is definitely a special one. The Guest, as you guys know, he did the wonderful spotlight video for Blink. Blink goes to a 5-8. Wasn't Blink 5-8 before? Wasn't she a high power before? Am I going crazy? I don't remember. I thought she was higher before, but nonetheless, her being a 5-8.
She was.
Wasn't she? That's what I thought.
Keyword think. She was. Give me just a second. I'll confirm that for us.
Yeah, because I think when Hellcow got that buff of being activate, Blink was huge, and they were like, all right, let's start, nerfing cards around her.
No,
but I could be wrong.
It was a 5/7, went down to a 5/6, then went back up to a 5/7,
5/7, and now it's 5/8.
It just changed the whole text of higher cost card that costs more type thing. That was the only thing that really changed with it, but it's gone back and forth between 6 and 7 in the data mines as they were testing the card, and then it got a buff right before it released up to 5/7, then shot up to 5/8 right now. That's what you're thinking about, is that back and forth.
Yeah, the changes. Now, I think this is great. This is fantastic because a lot of people need to continue playing Blink. I think Blue Eyes White Dragon have a great card list with Electro and everybody else. And I think this right here is going to be super fun, especially with Dr. Doom 20. Listen, this is amazing. I'm happy for this change. It's going to be dangerous. We're going to see a lot of Blink out in the meta, especially when we're talking about the whole thing of ramp, not worrying about Mobius. If you're running the Electro, you're running anything else to give you extra energy. And of course, Blink, just blinking it out for another card in your hand. Phenomenal change. I'm so happy for Blink. I'm ready to play some Blink decks. Gunny, how do you feel about Blink going to 5/8?
I'm thinking of like some other shenanigans. Like, what if you played Blink with like Shuri? Like, play down your Shuri, get your 5/16, blink that Shuri into something else. Like, I think we might find some other little homes for this. It's not just the Electro stuff.
Agreed.
I mean, 5/8 is pretty good stats, right? Especially if you're turning that. I mean, you need a 4 cost that does something that with low points. That's why I pointed out Shuri, right?
Shuri.
So something like that you just want to get out, get its effect done, and then pop it into something else. 5/8 can do that, right? It's at least tempting.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think this is huge, so I'm with you.
I think the only thing I'm scared about there is like, what 6-drop or 5-drop do you really want to go into that's not also going to get shanged, right? So you play your
Dr. Doom.
your blink into your Shang, or sorry, your Shuri
Infinite or something big,
and then it goes like into Infinite, right? Then you have a real juicy Shang-Chi lane.
Nah, you're right. You're hoping for like Dr. Doom or something else that can definitely do that.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that. It's super fun. Guess how do you feel about Blink?
I mean, like you said, it has a special place in my heart. It was the first video I got to make for Marvel Snap. I think it's warranted at this point. You know, we've heard them talk about the 5-cost cards are going to be the evolution of the meta. That's the direction that they want to go with the game. They want 5-cost cards to have more impact. And we've seen the importance of 4-cost cards because of Zabu. I think it was just a matter of time that we start seeing more of these 5-costers get 1 extra point here, 1 extra point here. You know, the mediocre possible card, like that's the direction you go with this. And yeah, I'm totally cool with that. It's fine by me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, because we have cards like the Thing First Steps, which is I'm loving that card. I love that card so much. So
it's fun. Oh, that'd be a great thing to blink into. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Be amazing. All right, so that wraps up the wonderful OTAs.
We got one more, right? We got one more.
Yeah,
that was popped in the news. Sorry. If you look at the news. Yeah. So we got the evolved Thing going from a 4/6 to a 4/7.
I mean, but that was just an oversight. That was them saying, "Oh shoot, we missed something here." When you play High Evo, it needs to change. But there is actually one other buff that is not listed on here because it was listed in a different section in the Discord notes.
Okay,
that's Mole Man. The brand new Mole Man went up from 3/3 to 3/4.
3/4, yeah, for all my
And
we'll talk about that now too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
No, I know you sent me some stuff about it, so I'm gonna talk about it right now. I'm not gonna pull it up because I only see it in this section, but nonetheless, we do have some changes for Grand Arena, and as guest mentioned, Mole Man went from a 3/3 to a 3/4, and guest did tease me today with a rock that had 23 power because of Mole Man. Yeah. So I mean, clearly this change is doing great things. I was really contemplating on getting Mole Man and just not getting Mole Man, and just getting the variants for Grand Arena. A chat was like, hello, you forgot Mole Man has a variant. I'm like, oh shit, you're right, gotta do it. So we got Mole Man, we got 2 of the variants in Grand Arena, but nonetheless, how you guys feel about Mole Man? Guess I'm gonna start with you since you already started talking about it. Mole Man, 3/4. Let's hear it.
Look, people just need to get out of Grand Arena with Mole Man and start experimenting with what can the card actually do. I think the card is better than people realize. I think that Victoria hand decks absolutely love this. Misery, that whole shenanigans. There's some really good things that can happen there. I was experimenting with like Devil Dino hybrids. I was trying a whole bunch of fun stuff. And I will say that people don't realize how good the card is, plain and simple. Mainly because Killmonger's a thing. As long as Killmonger's relevant in the meta, this card is going to have to get shelved back and forth. But if it's not a Killmonger meta, definitely consider bringing this card out. Dazzler decks love it. Zoo decks love it. There's some really fun shenanigans you can do with this. I don't think you should sleep on Mole Man as a card, especially now with an extra power going up to 3/4. It's got what we'll call vanilla stats. It has a good upside. Yeah, I think you should re-adventure into the burrow of Mole Man.
I think I already know the answer to this, but do you ever have an opponent play a creative deck against you, and then you're going to lose, but you're like, I want to see where this goes, and you just let it play? Yeah,
all the time.
So the first Victoria hand deck I saw with Mole Man, I knew that they got Mole Man cards, and then I was going to lose that game. I was like, I want to see where this goes, and I got stomped by Mole Man Victoria hand. There were 2 7-power stones. It was like, wow, that's pretty great.
Agreed. No, that's pretty good.
And 7 power with 2, and they had 2 Victoria hands out, so that means they hit a 3 cost, right? Could you imagine if they hit anything more than a 3 cost? Dang.
Crazy. So we also have Mole Man. So Grand Arena got some changes. Mole Man skill went from got a negative cost but +3 power. So that's pretty cool for the skill. Now keep in mind. Wait, hold on. I'm confused here. How do you get +3 power?
Okay. So it changed. Yeah. So basically, Mole Man skill, which was -1 cost or +2 power, is now buffed to -1 cost or +3 power. 3. And
thank you very much.
I had fun with that with the Dormammu deck as well previously, but I had an opponent play that against me and win with Mole Man Dormammu. So again,
that is
fun
crazy.
Grand Arena variation on that.
And then Herbie got a -3 cost to a 3 cost to a 4 cost for the Herbie skill, which is a nerf, but I get it. Herbie's skill is phenomenal. Being able to just re-trigger all his abilities at once is crazy. So it needed the additional cost because it was definitely OP. Yeah, super OP. And then we have a ban list of things changed here. So as you guys know, we had a cool ban list before.
They missed one though.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I think they're fine, but we'll talk about that right now, Gunny. Let's go through the list. Agatha is now banned. Sarah, now banned. Cannonball, thank God. Eliath, yes, that needed to go. Storm, I guess so. Juggernaut, wow. That's huge because I see nothing but Juggernaut in Grand Arena. And Viper, which because of Guess caused that problem. The whole Viper carnage. So Viper is now gone. Now, Gunny, please. I mean, I know somebody else in the community complained about a card. I don't know if it's the same card you're about to mention. But Gunny, what's the card you feel that is missing?
I just think it'd be fun to see what happens if there was no Shang-Chi.
Oh, that's a different card I was thinking about. No. But guess what? Power must be controlled. You know that, right?
I got it. I want to see some game mode that comes out for a limited time where we just see who can make the most points. Just want to see that.
Gunny.
It's called Conquest.
Gunny, where the T stands for tournaments, why don't you run a no Shang-Chi tournament? You'll see all the power you want to see, okay?
It'd be crazy.
How about that? Yeah. Yes, I've done that before. So do it, and you'll see all the power you want. But as of Grand Arena, power must be controlled.
I think it's a home run, though. I do like the ban list. I think Agatha getting to be played out on turn 2 every game was insane. Sarah getting controlled there because again, I think the Sarah got broken because it could be played on turn 4, right? Get 2 turns with that Sarah ability, and then just hitting up the annoying clog stuff by hitting Cannonball and Viper. Juggernaut, I think needs a nerf in general. Juggernaut 4/4, 4/5. I don't care. It needs to. One-sided Eliath is silly. I made a post to you guys yesterday or something. That was I'm just tired of losing to Juggernaut over and over in any capacity. So that's kind of cool, right? And I think they just hit a lot of annoying cards. This game mode seems to be something like, let's just have fun. Let's make big things happen. And these cards are all things that don't allow big things to happen.
No, I love it. And the fact that we get extra energy is so good because I'm going to say it again, She-Hulk Infinite, like that. But I having to worry about playing Psylocke or Kale and just be like, I'm good. I'm skipping this turn and voila. So I'm happy that they made these changes because this needed to happen. But yeah, no, we need Shang-Chi because it must be controlled. Guess, how do you feel about it?
So the one that I heard, the one I thought you were going to say, Agony, honestly, that I've heard a lot that I disagree with many people is Super Skrull. I heard a lot of people complain about Super Skrull, and I thought that's what you were going to say. Shang-Chi is just like, dude, you've been hanging out with Aaron too much. I think that I think that Super Skrull is a card that didn't get thrown onto this list because Onslaught exists, and because that's how you counter it. You just play your Onslaught build, whatever you're going to double up, triple up, whatever in that lane. If the Super Skrull drops, immediately your plan shifts if you're an ongoing deck because you're trying to keep up with it, and you play Onslaught in the same lane as Super Skrull, and you scale over that lane every time. Pretty much every single time. Because that exists, that's why I don't think it's on this list. And even though there's a lot of prominence and success in the ongoing deck, like I built a Series 1 deck, literally. Like the very first deck you should ever play in a game, I built it and ran it into Grand Arena. And I took down the Super Skrull lists because you just play the Onslaught build over there. Like it has counters. It has ways to play around it. You just have to know how to. So I don't think that it justified itself as a ban list card. I will say I am shocked that they actually went with the Alioth change for Invisible Woman. That one did really surprise me. I really was shocked by that one. I didn't think that they were going to let that sandcastle continue to exist that way.
Right.
I guess so. Storm kind of shocked me. I hadn't seen that one a lot, but apparently that was a problem. So, and Viper, my bad.
One thing I think is really cool, and I think they should do every single time they run a multi-week limited time game mode, is this. Halfway through,
update the ban list.
Update the ban list.
100%.
Just and on top, like just take all the best like top winning cards, because at this point we've kind of figured out the meta for the Grand Arena, right? So just shake it all up. Like take the top 10 winning cards or whatever it is, and just dump them and say, hey guys, new game, let's figure it out again.
Yeah,
it just makes it fresh.
Totally agree.
I think the bans are needed in this sense to just even, I'm not saying, but to spin off of that to allow you to continue it. Change the meta by removing things. Don't add things back.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So here's one thing that I think some people really get confused with when it comes to bans, is there's always going to be a best card. If you ban all the best stuff, whatever the next level of best is now your best. So let's do this in Magic the Gathering all the time. If every single card was a vanilla 2/2, had no abilities, just 2 attack, 2 defense, and then they printed a 2/3, that's now the best card in the game, right? So there's always like, and that's not a powerful card in Magic. A 2/3 is not. But it's just saying that like when you take away the top, there's always a next top. So it's just like, and that's where I mean by like freshen it up, ban the top stuff halfway through a multi-week format, and just let them figure it out again.
I agree. And with that, we have a bunch of changes to some of the wonderful decks that are in Grand Arena. Kicking things off with Mole Man, pre-constructed deck now cuts Cuckoo, Isan, Iron Patriots, but then it adds Surge, Blue Marvel, and the Ancient One. I do like these changes. Go ahead, guess.
I played this deck, and it is so much better. It was one of the first things I did was I tried this pre-build. It is so much better with the Victoria hand, Ancient One, like Blue Marvel play. So much better. I highly recommend trying it out, even if you're not planning on getting Mole Man or a Mole Man fan. Try this as a Victoria hand build. It is very strong, very strong.
And that's what I like, that they actually make these changes as well, along with the ban list, right? Pushing up the pre-constructed decks is phenomenal. Then we have Dr. Doom pre-con deck, which cuts Jennifer Kale, Nocturne, Gore, and Astral Projection, but add Lockjaw, White Tiger, Magneto, and Red Hawk. I think that's pretty sick. I love that. Again, I like that they made these changes so that it can definitely switch it up a little bit, especially for the precon decks. I do still believe, like some people were saying out there, and I 100% agree with, that precon decks should only match up against precon decks, because the build decks against the precon sometimes are not fair. You don't think we should do that? You're shaking your head no, because this is the reason why infinite players only play infinite players. So, I mean, why can't precon decks only play precon players?
Because most of the best decks in the game mode are the precon decks. The outliers are trying to keep up with them, and the stats support it.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I thought it was the other way around. I felt that, but you're telling me the precon decks are better than anybody building their own card list in this mode.
More than half of the precon decks make up more than half of the top decks.
You got to show your work. Where's this coming from?
Untapped.
I mean, I know you second in an employee of the month. I just
look
need
at the
to know.
Untapped statistics for Grand Arena.
Okay, all right. That's crazy, because I really thought it was the other way around. So, I mean, does it change though? Does it change the perspective of, should we not have these two separate decks match
right
up
now for you, because you put me on the
I
spot,
believe
so
you.
that's fine.
I believe you. I'm
As
just
he's
saying.
pulling up, I want to mention something I think is pretty cool, especially in the Mole Man pre-constructed deck. Esme Cuckoo and Iron Patriot, they've been out for a little while, but they are slightly newer, and I think this game mode might be bringing players back. So I think swapping out a couple of newer cards, Series 5 cards, for a couple of other new Series 5 cards, specifically Surge and the Ancient one, right? It gives players a little bit of extra feel for those new cards they may not have gotten a chance to play with. For instance, I have never used Herbie because I don't own Herbie. I played the Herbie deck, and it's pretty cool. I really enjoy the fact that I'm able to play with cards that I don't own.
Agreed.
I think
agree with you 100% on that.
right? I think they should be looking for more opportunities. This game mode should be, hey, look how cool this card is. If you don't own it, you might want to consider it.
Yes, and I think we should get more champions, right? I think the next, you know what I mean? Like, we should rotate some champions.
Yeah, I mean, they should rotate champions, but I think in the next Grand Arena, I think the number of champions is pretty right.
Of course. I'm just saying, the next one, hope we rotate, not bring back some, right? So I hope if the next season is, around a certain group of things, we should get those type of champions. Like we got this one now, right? We got the Fantastic Four here. So the next season, whatever the theme is, if this comes back, we should have those champions, right? In that world. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool, but I hope so. I don't know what the difference would be, but nonetheless, like I said, yes, I believe you. Like I said, I just felt, based on my experience, and mind you, I haven't played that much, even though I have played, but nonetheless, I felt like the decks that I built or the decks that I went up against when I was playing the pre-con decks were losing to people who were building certain decks for Grand Arena.
Yeah.
But again,
to spin one thing to what Gunny was saying, though, something I would not mind, though, is if they did like another iteration of Grand Arena, but on release, there's 7 champions for the first week. And then the following week, they release 2 more champions.
Ooh, okay.
So you only get those champions for 1 week. So there's that little bit of play FOMO. It increases the amount of access of opponents that you could go up against because of the influence of the builds. The precons have more access to distribute their sampling, if you will. So you get to try more cards, and it gives you an incentive for the second week. I don't know what those numbers look like exactly, but I think it's very safe to say that people would be interested in going back even further. Just like how we talked about, we're halfway through a 2-week mode. If they do a nerf list and a ban list and an update like this, if you released out like 2 more champions in the second week only, absolutely people would be excited. Like you could just theme it to whatever card releases out that week or that week. Following week. Oh man, absolutely. Like people will be all over.
Yes, that is sick. Could you imagine if if they did it this week and they gave us the season pass card and the spotlight card as champions, so we get to play them a week earlier? Would that not get people excited to be like, you know what, I need to buy this battle pass? Because what you mean? Gunny, it's to go off what you just said, Gunny. It's to give people that hold on. Feeling to
if
say,
they release a dud, that makes people not want to buy it.
Yeah, but come on. In most cases, the battle pass cards aren't duds.
I'm just saying. There's a world where they release a card that's underpowered and people are like, you know.
Yeah, maybe not the paid card, maybe not the Battle Pass card, but if they did
the 2 spotlights.
I think if they did like the Series 5 spotlight and the Series 4 spotlight.
Hey, I mean, that's fair. I just felt the Battle Pass is good too because especially if it was Mr. Fantastic First Steps, for example.
You're right. If it's a banger,
and we all got a chance to play it, and then we're like, everybody's gonna want to buy this card after playing it for a whole week. I just felt that, but hey, who knows? And of course, also second, then it gets real testing of this Battle Pass card to be like, you know what, this card is underwhelming, or this card is too OP. You know what I mean? Like, at least, nonetheless, we're talking what ifs here. So let's go ahead and go forward. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about the newest card that came out this week. And I got to say, it has to be the Diamond card this week. And that's the one and only Invisible Woman First Steps. Now, this card, of course, guys, is activate this turn. Your end of turn abilities happen twice. And as we mentioned before, like Sunspot, Fantasticar, and all these other, Sunspot and all the other end of turn ability cards. We mentioned this in the beginning of the season. Invisible Woman is going to make all those cards even better, and I think she's done that. Her in a Surferless is crazy. Her in a High Evo deck is crazy. Her in a She Not deck is crazy. Her in anything with end of turn, whether it be Havoc or Athena, whatever, is bananas. And I highly recommend, if you have the tokens or not, find a way to get this card before it goes into the Series 5 pack. Gunny, let me give my rating. Diamond for this card. Gunny, how do you feel about Invisible Woman First Steps?
I don't know. I haven't bought her. I've been on the fence, kind of waiting for the weekend to see what everyone's thoughts are.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like she's good. But I've played against her and I've won, I've lost against her. So I don't know. I don't know what I feel about her yet.
That's fair. But if you had to give a prediction, if you had to be like, you know what?
I don't know. I don't know if this card is flash in the pan or not. That's the problem I'm having.
Okay.
Is this card, does it have staying power? And I don't know if that's true or not yet. So I'm going to give it double gold. I do think it's a very good card. I don't know if it's platinum or diamond, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, I haven't jumped out. Like, it's not one of those cards that I had to go get immediately. So I don't know.
I played it the first night, the Tuesday, a little bit, and I had it in the double platinum range, right? In platinum, double platinum. Then being able to play it for a few more days, and I had to give it a diamond now. You know what I mean? It took me time, but it went from definitely a platinum from the beginning to like, you know what? No, this card definitely deserved the diamond card.
All right.
Yes.
What do you feel about it? Are you going to convince me to get it?
My caveat on this is, if you want to play the decks in which it has its proper home, because it's not a plug and play card.
Yeah.
If you want to play those decks, this is a must grab. If you want to play High Evo, this is a must grab. If you want to play Athena Havoc, this is a must grab. If you have Prodigy, this is a must grab. If you want to play Doom 2099, this is a must grab. If you don't want to play any of those, pass.
And I think that's a problem.
This card
is I don't have the new thing, and I don't have Prodigy. So those are like, do I need to have both of those cards?
No, it's not new thing. You don't have to worry about new thing. That's fine. But if you're gonna run Athena, Prodigy, Havoc, Chaos, which I did, and it's
so good,
stupid. It's stupid good.
Because you can, if you want to play Prodigy and Frigga in a deck with this, and it gets crazy, right?
Yep, that's exactly what I did. Yeah, I even threw in Moon Girl just to make sure I got duplicates. Like, stupid.
so crazy.
Oh, it was so crazy. There were several moments where I had like.
That's what I mean.
What are your key targets for deviling? Let's talk about that. What are your key targets? Actually, that's a great point. So let's sell this card. This card's really good. What are the things that you should have if you want to purchase this? You already mentioned Prodigy, which is pretty easy. I could wait. I could get this, and then I could wait for a Prodigy to pop up. Because I have about 16K tokens or something. But what else? What are the key cards that you want to double? You mentioned Havoc.
I think Havoc / Thena. Those two cards are cards, and that's all basically a package. You want to run that all together. You know, your Sunspot, which is
everybody has
at this point.
Sunspot.
Everybody has Spot at this point over time. If you've been playing, especially, you know, for at least a year, you've got it to say the minimum. Even with Sunspot losing a power, like I said, with this card,
this is crazy.
With Invisible Woman losing that power, it means nothing because you just gain that power back so easily.
Correct.
Bruce Banner is a good card with this as well, doubling, you know, getting an extra chance. His consistency absolutely went up
the roof
by having that extra chance to get that pop off to happen. And I mean, it's a 212. You can't call that bad. I think he's a good card to be considering if you're going to have it be a target. If you're going to do the whole high Evo thing, if you plan on getting Fantastic Car and doing Invisible Woman, that's the double combo package, and then you can build any high Evo deck you want. And it's just, all of them are absolutely insanely good, whether it's the Red Hulk variations, whether it's the new thing for Steps variations, whether any variation of high Evo that runs both Invisible Woman and Fantastic Car, they're pretty much golden as just big card do big thing type decks.
Yeah. What about Surfer?
Surfer, no.
Yeah,
I did not have a lot of luck with Surfer because Surfer only has 3 targets that are end of turn. Makari, Marvel Boy,
Human Torch,
and Human Torch. Those are the only 3 targets. So
but
you could have Prodigy happen, and I had that as an option, like have Prodigy in that deck, and then also and then Frigate it to try to get another one of the. It's just you're working so hard for so little. It's not worth it for a Surfer deck. It's not a Surfer card. It's a card for every other end of turn card, but especially those cheaper ones. That's where it has way more value. It's not about the thing. It's about the Havoc, the Adam Warlock, the Sunspots. Like that's where all the value comes. So the more of those that you pack on into a deck, the better chance of having that deck be absolutely insane on the final turn and be able to dance around all the Shang-Chi and the Shadow Kings and that kind of stuff because it happens afterwards. So that final turn and having it be ruined or scale over it afterwards, it's kind of like the Invisible Woman type idea of hide this behind this card. It's okay. The effect will happen later. Same idea.
This is one of the things that, so me talking about not being wowed by it. I was playing my Trixie Pixie deck against the Invisible Woman, and that's really where, so I was doing something very unfair, right? I'm using Pixie, I'm using Mobius, and then I'm, getting super cheap Gores and Iron Man and stuff, and I'm just going way over the top of these decks because I feel like they lack interaction.
Well,
these decks.
Okay. I don't think so. I think they have great interaction, but nonetheless.
Well, he's talking about like how can you tech against something else? It's a very greedy deck. I'll say confidently, like the Thena Havoc kind of stuff. It's a greedy deck.
100%. 100%.
You do your thing and ignore what your opponent is doing. It's just you put down a ridiculous amount of power on the final turn and scale over whatever they're going to do.
Right.
In that sense, it is a bit of a flash in the pan because long term, you're going to look at other decks and be like, why would I do that when I could just do this as a combo instead? I could work just as hard with Move Bounce and get higher stats. Or I could work just as hard with Living Tribunal and get higher stats. Or Mr. Negative and get higher stats.
But
in that
it's
sense,
not...
that specific build, I could see that being a flash in the pan. But the high Evo stuff, this is the best iteration of high Evo stuff. Hands down.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I used it with Dracula and Thaddeus Ross. Like that was my plan with this list. Lady Sif, Ghost Rider, Thaddeus, because at the end of turn, if you get Thaddeus to give you 2 big cards, Dracula gets more targets to hit. That's the man. And we were winning with this deck, having a blast with it. So, I mean, just thinking about her and what she does is thinking about Wong, right? Because Wong does the same thing for on reveals, the same way she does the same thing for end of turn. So for me, I think if you think about the future of Snap and their cards, any end of turn cards that come out, you're going to want the Wong for those cards.
That's a pretty good.
So that alone should already say, hey, give me Invisible Woman, because if you're looking to double anything in the future, right? Future proof yourself. I think you need Invisible Woman.
That's fair. That's
even those small decks, even those small decks right now play great with her. We think about the future. Like I said, the way Wong is, we got to all say Wong is a platinum to diamond card because of the ability to double those on reveals. and she doubles the end of turn cards. I mean, that's why I think 100% you need to have her, even if you're not playing the high evos or the prodigies. You need to future proof yourself, and I think she's great for the future.
All right, I can see it. I'll get it.
Fantastic. All pun intended.
Well done.
All right. So now we go on to our wonderful next topic, and this is a very exciting one, guys. We have a new season coming to Marvel Snap. We haven't seen the video yet, of course, but we do know, based on data mines, which of course is all subject to change, what card is coming out in the Battle Pass. And that is the one and only Galactus First Steps. Now, I'm surprised that... Oh, here we go. Galactus First Steps, 612. My Herald is the next character I see you play. End of turn +2 power if you're winning My Herald's location, if in hand or in play. Now, I'm going to give this over to Guess, because all these texts give me Yu-Gi-Oh vibes, and I don't feel like thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh right now. So Guess, please let the people know, why is this card good or bad?
This card is good for a couple of different reasons. Okay, first off, this might be the... I'm just going to lead with this because it's you. This might be the card that actually gets an Infinite a buff, legitimately.
Okay.
I think that this is going to be regularly, without even trying. This is regularly a 616, 618, without even trying. Because the way that this card works is the second it's in your hand or in play is when the effect goes active. So if you draw it on turn 1, the first card your opponent plays is the Herald. But if you don't draw it, or you don't, and it just stays in the deck, let's say you blink it out somehow on turn 5. The second it's on the board on turn 5, now that counts as, okay, the effect goes live and the end of turn starts for getting the +2 once the Herald has been assigned. So I think that this card is going to do a couple of different things. Number one, it's going to bring back the same feelings that we had with Scar and that whole Searcher meta of, you're going to see big cards, so you're going to see a lot of Armor and Shang-Chi and Kyera and Surtur, and this kind of stuff is all going to come on back because this is a big card easily, right, and you can just drop it down. This is going to get Blob to have a buff. There's several things that are going to happen from this card, or it's going to be one of those season passes that 2 months from now gets dropped to a 610 immediately, because it's going to be a regularly beefy card. I like the idea of this card also presenting problems for deck building, because everyone likes to play the big card on the beginning of the season, right? So people are going to play Galactus First Steps. They're going to get the season pass card. It always ends up at like a 50% play rate for right, most decks for people on season launch for the first 24 hours, first week. Everybody should just start playing Hood. Just play Hood. Because the second you do that, My Herald is the next card I see you play. Okay. If the Herald's location is being won by the opponent, well, then he keeps getting +2 power. If you play Hood, you are now losing that lane.
You're losing that.
You're in the negative. Yeah. So it restricts Galactus from doing that.
I'm confused.
Let me understand.
My Herald is the next card I see you play.
You play.
So it could be me, not my opponent playing.
As in the opponent.
Your opponent. Right.
It is referring to the opponent.
Character I see you play. Really? My Herald's the next card after character I see you play. Interesting. Are you sure it's not us?
I see someone else play this. That's how I've read the card. That's how I've interpreted the card. That's how I see the card from conversation within the community as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. Listen, that's why I told you to talk about it, guys, because I already know.
I don't
the brainiac of the crew. I had to, understand?
That's
so
what I've seen.
All right.
That's what I've seen from conversation regularly.
It makes a pretty big difference for how I'm thinking about this card.
Yeah, because
you can easily just keep losing a lane.
My chat's saying otherwise now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, because think about it. My Herald...
all these people, well, several of these people were here
when I recorded
the video
Galactus
talking about the card.
Yeah. Right, because Gunny, right? I'm about to say, in the lore, my herald belongs to me, right?
Yeah.
Silver Surfer is my herald, so it should be my card.
So you gotta help me there, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the Herald of Galactus is Silver Surfer, right? That's my herald. So for me, when it says my herald is the character I see you play, I'm assuming it's my card, not my opponent's card. So I think Galactus is talking to us. It's saying whatever card you play next is my herald. So as long as my herald
chat right now, because
as long as my herald is winning the lane,
we're here in the chat, never corrected me in the entire spiel of me talking about this card. If that's the case, then I'm learning about it for the first time, and I've got a wrong video out there talking about it. But if it's talking about the owner, then you just do quite the opposite. Then Black Cat becomes incredibly relevant for the same exact reasons. Quicksilver becomes incredibly relevant.
I was just thinking of like
because it decreases your chance to draw him. But
I was thinking like the Sugi type, where you're trying to get priority and just maintaining it with Negasonic Teenage Warhead and all that stuff. Like we already know how easy it is to keep winning a lane. We did that for Iron Patriot. Like you can do it.
Yeah, but you mean to tell me after every turn? So my next card I play, for example, is Black Cat, like you said. If I'm winning that lane every end of turn and Galactus is in my hand, he gets +2 power for each turn that my herald is winning that lane.
Yes.
Get out of here. This is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. What? Oh my goodness. This is turn 1, Black Cat. Turn 2, Armor. And you just sit back and relax. You can throw whatever else you want in there. They can't put Negasonic now, but it's crazy. And then if I'm not mistaken, we play Invisible Woman first steps on turn 3, for example, and we play this card on the final turn and we activate her and we're winning that lane with the Black Cat. He gets +4. Yeah. This is getting a nerf super early.
I think part of the and to be completely honest, if that's the case, no matter who it is, because when I read it, I'm reading it as he's saying it not necessarily to me, but saying it outward. And I think the reason for that at least with the confusion side, is because it's the first time, and Destructive used this terminology on this earlier, it's breaking the fourth wall. It's specifically saying, it's the next card I see you play. If you're winning, my herald's location. You see, it's like it's an actual conversation, and card text typically doesn't do that. This is a narrative card.
Right.
And they've had problems with this before because of the lack of clarity. So that would be legitimately, honestly, why I'm so thrown off about the card. Because if you're not doing the hood type scenario, then obviously you're just going the opposite direction with it, and that's why you play the Black Cat
and trying to win that lane
and that kind of stuff earlier.
I think on the flip side of that, one argument for against what you're talking about, Guest, is this turns that lane into its own mini game, right? Whereas if I can choose to not play cards into a lane and not win it, right? If you have a 1/1 there, I just play in the other 2 lanes and just continuously lose that throughout. And I can choose to do that, right? Your opponent has no agency over that. Whereas if now you're turning it into a mini game of like, hey, how many times are you going to let me keep winning this lane? That your opponent at least has some agency. They can decide to try to play in there, contest it or not.
Right. I think the scarier part about this this happens with no matter which scenario it is. The scariest part about this card to me is that it is enabling a priority push for the meta, which means Alioth is going to be present everywhere, both sides, offense and defense, because the whole game is going to end up being a priority push game again. So
what about Leech? Does Leech hit this card and it just loses all its power? Is it the 12?
Well, if it's plus, it's not ongoing, so it would be stagnant and then stop. So if this card gets leached and it's up already to a 6/16, it's like Red Hulk in the same sense.
It doesn't matter.
It just kind of it freezes where it is.
What about Leader?
Leader?
Play Leader against this.
Yeah, why not? There you go. Get a good copy of it. Does it double the pot? No, it'd probably just be whatever it is. Yeah, I'm with it. This is going to be a very interesting card. I'm excited either way. The guess way or the way that we mentioned, this card is still going to be awesome. I guess we got to wait for the video to find out for sure which way is accurate. But like Guest said, if it's his way, just If you're playing against this, run the hood, and if you're not playing against this, definitely try to win that lane. I mean, either way, this card preview score, guys, preview rating has to be a platinum card. Has to be a platinum card. Yeah, it has to be.
For big cards, it's tough. Like, we thought Gore was going to be a diamond card, and it's just a platinum. Not, I should say just, but you get what I'm saying, because it's really opponent dependent more than anything else. I think that this is safely a platinum card because you don't always have to have a 6-cost card in your deck to make a good deck. But if you are going to play a 6-cost card, then there's a bunch of competition for that position, depending on the type of deck that you want to build. And this is just another piece within that.
I think an important part here for my differentiation between platinum and diamond is it being universally used, right? So look at something like Sage and sorry, not Sage, but Surge and those cards that can go to so many different decks. Mr. Fantastic, those are the diamond cards to me, right? Played everywhere. This gets played in its deck, right? It could be played in a lot of different decks, but I think it's platinum because it's not used so universally as some of those other cards.
Yeah. It's just good. Yeah. It's just good.
No,
it's
I agree.
Beefy,
platinum,
good
we
card.
have to give it platinum.
Yeah.
You have to do it. You have to give it platinum. This is, oh man, guys. I am like, wow. I'm pumped for this card. I cannot wait for it to come out next week.
Stifler, just so you know, diamonds are better than platinum in this. It goes, what is it? It's wood, plastic, silver, gold.
No. Plastic, silver, gold. You got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. There's no wood.
Yeah. Plastic, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. Gold. Those are our 5
there you
ones.
Go.
And I love the fact that you called him Stifler in the chat, even though his name is Slifer. It just shows what era that you grew up in.
Yes, American Pie, baby. The camera zoomed in as he gives the evil laugh.
That was great. The camera zoom on your laughter was great. But anyway, we digress.
Yes. So speaking of cards with immense power and doing phenomenal things when it comes to matchups, ladies and gentlemen, we're here to celebrate. The Golden Gauntlet Worlds is coming out, guys, and this is huge because this is a long event. This is not just a one-time thing. This is going from now until the end of the year, and you have a chance, an opportunity, all of you, everyone, to join, sign up, and try your best become the Golden Gauntlet Worlds Champion. Now we have the wonderful Gunny T and the amazing It's Guess Gaming here from Game On. We're just missing Models, but nonetheless, Models is the back end stuff.
Recording right now himself at a podcast.
Look at that. See what I'm talking about. Yeah. See, we're busy. We're making things happen.
We got
shout out to Models. That's right. Yeah. We're here to bring this news to you guys that we will be enjoying some Golden Gauntlets. Gunny, how you feel about this, man? I mean,
all right. I've been waiting to talk about this for a while. So it's finally here. We're finally doing it. But this is where it's really important. And this is so cool. So we did Golden Gauntlet 1, did Golden Gauntlet 2. Both of those, if the community didn't really know, were like a proof of concept. Like, is this going to work? Does the community want it? And you guys have proved that it works and that you want it. And now and not to say anything slight against Second Din or anything, but they definitely put a lot on our plate to make it happen and make it work.
Yeah.
And now they're finally giving us more resources. You're going to see a better polished stream coming from it because, on the background, there's a couple people in Second Dinner that really wanted this to happen, but their bosses told them, hey, prove it. Prove that this is good. And we did it. We proved that it's good. We proved that it's going to be a fantastic event. And we're finally getting the backing that I think the community deserves for these events. And that is so cool. This whole thing, we're doing it in 3 different regions. We're starting with the Asian and the Western United States. So for them, it's going to be good times so the Asian players can play. And then some folks in the West Coast can stay up a little bit late. I think it finishes at 2 a.m. for them. And then the next one will be focused on the Americas, where it's going to be really good times to play for both West Coast and East Coast. And finally, we're finishing off with a EU-focused one that, again, folks can wake up quite a bit early on the Eastern United States to play in. So that being said, anybody can play in any of the events. You don't have to, just because it's in your geographic location or not in your geographic location doesn't mean you can't participate, but it just might not be at a good time for you. For instance, Guest is staying up until 6 a.m. for our event. If anybody is in his location, they can also stay up till 6 a.m. to play. But there are events for the each location around the world, and this is the first time that we're actually doing a worlds event, right? So we did this for the creator gauntlet that we did, same kind of structure, but we're bringing it now to the whole community, and it's just going to be so cool. So cool as a celebration for Marvel Snap. This is right around the 3-year anniversary of Marvel Snap, so just so cool.
Agreed. Yes. Your take, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, like Gunny said, I mean, we've been working on this as a concept, as a proof of concept, and now as a actual true thing for, months at this point, between the first initial conversations and then seeing, how Second Dinner wants to kind of grow this idea with the community, and when is the best time of year also to get certain pieces of it going. And they've been incredibly supportive for something that started off as a simple idea, and seeing the whole team start to slowly wrap around it, also embrace it differently. Like, we've talked with several different departments at this point to get different perspectives and experiences and throw it all to, us and say, here, go, do your thing, make it awesome. And the only reason that it succeeded, in my personal opinion, is because the community came forward and proved that this is more than just about having competitive Marvel Snap. They wanted to see entertainment. They wanted to talk about it and shift the metas with the decks that get built. And we learned a lot in the first 2, which is why we did so many different things for this one. The timing of how it all releases, the changes with OTAs and patches, and trying to factor those in to the worldwide aspect of this and the multiple times and regions. Like, we really listened to what the community said from all aspects, from the top of Second Dinner down to someone who started a week prior to the event. And I'm thrilled that they have that Second Dinner has embraced us as a company for Game On and allowed us to showcase their product and celebrate the game the way that we truly feel like it should be celebrated. And they agree with us. So it's been one hell of a road. It's been a lot of work, but it has absolutely been worth it. And I cannot wait to show y'all all of the stuff that we've been working on for this. Those who have already registered, because we opened up registration today, they've already seen some of the fruits of that labor, because the whole process has gotten so much more streamlined.
Oh my God. Can we just talk about that for a second? So if you don't know, we have 3 pieces of this. Some people might be listening to this for the first time. We have myself. I run the tournaments. I write the rules. I'm the one that gathers everybody and learns how to communicate with the players. Guest is our production manager. He's the one that does the entire stream, as well as helps with everything. Ken is our manager for the entire company. Then he's really a fill-in for all of us. But the person who has done a ridiculous amount of work for this is Models. The dude, I don't understand coding. Ken understands a bit of what Models is doing. But the dude has worked with Top Deck to create bots that then automatically, without even players knowing it, check to see if they have a Top Deck account, sends them to Top Deck if they don't have an account. The registration process is awesome, automatically applying roles to players, so that way they're no longer getting pings that don't apply to them. Like, the whole process is so much smoother for registration, just for the players aspect of it. And then on top of that, one thing I'm super excited about is this next one. We're changing things up just a little bit for the stream, and Guest is going to be hosting the entire thing, and I'm very excited to see how that fits in with Guest. Now, by what I mean by hosting is just, talking every once in a while, but introducing the guest casters that we have on. He's not going to be on camera the whole time, but just he's really, a big production, and I think the production value is going to go way up. And then lastly, before I jump off my soapbox, is I love seeing our returning players to these gauntlets. A couple of them that just pop off the top of my head. Cosmic Casual has been a phenomenal player, super,
Agreed.
just a great person, great hype and vibe coming from him. And then Kingpin, another person who's just like, it's almost like not a fake moderator, but like just a helpful assistant. Like these guys, and there's so many other people in the community that do the same thing, and just the community in the Discords for these are fantastic.
Yes.
And it's just continuing to grow. It's so cool to watch, right? That we make this thing and players are just taking off with it and making it their own.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. I am pumped and excited. And yes, models get some love for sure because of the madness. Put these things together to make sure it's smooth for you guys, right? Make sure you guys can come in, sign up, register, or spectate, and keep it moving. We don't want anybody feeling like, all right, I got to a point, roadblock, I'm done, I'm turning this off. No, want it to be nice and smooth so you can get what you want and proceed forward. And I'm so happy to see that the bots are working. We have everybody in the chat helping out in the Discord. And again, all the coming back, the returning players from the Gauntlets coming back to battle. I hope you guys make it further this time. If you didn't win, I hope you make it further this time. So I wish you guys all the best with that. But yeah, this is exciting stuff, man. Guys, we've been talking about this scene, the Marvel Snap competitive tournament, official tournament scene for a long time. It's been almost 3 years. And to see it come here, man, it's huge. I'm pumped, excited, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see it all play out. And yes, Guest will be hosting the event. It's going to be bananas. You already know how Guest hold things down. You guys are watching right now live. You already know how it's going to be. So
I can't wait to see it happen. And let other people cast, and then I'll be back for the finals. And just like it's going to be a very different, not very different, but it's going to be a different feel because you'll have your casters showcasing the gameplay, and then every now and then, kind of like VH1 pop-up video, just I can reappear, join the conversation for a moment or so, give a fun fact or a nugget, and then let the casters talk about what's going on the screen. So I can focus on the production side a little differently and really help bring that production level even higher up too. While you may definitely see some returning faces and some new faces in the caster booth.
I have a feeling it's going to feel more like a show you're watching as opposed to just a tournament being cast.
Yeah. That's
the key. So
that's the hope.
Yeah. That's the key.
Yeah, do you want to shout out any of the other staff that we got going on? So we have our Discord moderators, White Rain Brady and Destructive. Bring it back. White Rain Brady does fantastic job on other servers. So those guys are awesome. Do we have our locked in for our Twitch and our YouTube moderators, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're fully locked in to make sure, because we will have, for the first time also, we are going to have live chat going on the YouTube side. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can actually have a conversation with everyone over there. So we're going to have even more people come join the party for the very first time. And Terabang is joining the crew for the very first time to moderate with us. Nick the Greek Geek is coming back once again also to moderate with us as well. And then we've got the whole judge staff too.
Yeah, we have Two Ties joining us yet again. Two Ties is amazing at what he does. We finally brought Z-Rob onto the judge staff because he's been just pretty much volunteering his time. If you don't know him, he's the creator of Top Deck. So having that immediate Top Deck staff in with the event is just going to make it go so much smoother. He's been doing a ton of background work specifically for this event to make sure it goes off without a hitch. Like there's a bunch of Top Deck updates that went out, so things should be smoother for the player experience. And then bring it back, we have Black Dahlia, first time judging on one of our big events, but he's local in Australia. So he's going to keep the wheels on as we're all falling asleep at 5 a.m. Yeah. And it'll be normal daytime for him.
Yep. And then, of course, myself, Gunny, and Models will be in the back end helping you guys out with any issues. So make sure you guys play nice, right? Play nice. Speaking of playing nice, we got some comments to look at. You want to go through these comments? You ready for this?
Boy. Did they actually play nice from last week's video?
I'm about to say they did. They did, and they actually took your challenge and asked some questions. We're going to get into it. I want to first shout out all the wonderful people who left awesome comments on the Marvel Snap chat. Shout out to you guys. Thank you. Some nice, warm comments you guys left over there. I had the honor and privilege to be able to do a podcast with one and only Alex Cochilla on the Snapchat, and you guys left some phenomenal comments. So now I want to talk about the comments you guys left me and guests last week. I want to talk about one real quick before we dive into what people were, the questions they asked us. First, I want to say shout out to the Baby Blog, who said they're already going to buff Infinite when his ultimate variant comes out. Now, that ultimate variant from, is it Victor Faro? I forgot what it is. Looks flawless.
I think so.
I think it comes out next week, right? I'm hoping and praying for that. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and look at some of the other things that people were saying. Deadman Falcon left a long message. So let's go ahead and read that from Deadman, which is the Brookland 2-time champion. Brookland said, Mr. STG, I've always been fond of you. Yeah, okay. And I have a deep respect for your work as a pillar in the Marvel Snap community. So why did you choose to do content for Marvel Snap? Aside from Snap, I have the love for technology and always want to know what is on the horizon for technology, etc. With that being said, if you're willing to open up about your first steps into, like I use first steps there, into technology, what was it like? Any advice on how you would advise your own young ones in that field? I'm glad to have met a person like you. Best yet from you, my friend. And then for Guess, he said, Dear Mr. Guess Gaming, I'm glad to have met you in person. Fun times. That's right, Brooklyn. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fun times. I hope our paths cross again. You, my friend, are built for this. Very rarely do people give others flowers and let them know how they are appreciated. I'm very happy that you have been selected in certain promotions for Marvel Snap. You're killing it, and you have a pulse of what Decision Second Dinner is going to do. The intel you give the community when you can is invaluable and is much appreciated. So, what was your first steps involving yourself in Marvel Snap as a content creator? Also, let me know something about yourself. All right. Should we wear my glasses? I'm sorry. I'm trying to be Superman and not read without my glasses. So I apologize, guys. But we got through it. We got through it. I should zoom in. That's what I should do. What am I doing?
Duh.
I should be sharing this as well. What's wrong with me? Come on. But yeah, Guess, go ahead. You can answer the question first on that. I mean, how do you feel about it?
My journey into Marvel Snap was originally out of desperation. The whole thing was I was streaming another game that is long needed to have died a while ago and finally did because it was incredibly toxic. And as I saw the downhill of that game starting to happen, Default Dan, our buddy Britt, introduced me to Marvel Snap. And Marvel Snap was like, oh, okay, I haven't played a card game in a while like this, so sure, let me give it a shot. And I started to, just casually stream it right around global, like within the month of global launch. I wasn't day one, but within that same first month. So I gave it a shot. I was like, okay, this is November. All right, this is pretty good. Having a good time. Streamed it occasionally just for fun. And then come December, I'm like, I'm going to definitely want to stream this more. So I started streaming it like 50-50. And then my game that I was maining previously as like the #1 creator for, all of a sudden put out information and stuff and turned itself entirely pay to win, literally pay to win. I called it out and decided to immediately leave the game and go 100% full into Marvel Snap. And I haven't looked back since. I absolutely love, the journey that I've gone on since making that decision. It was rough in the beginning, and I've had like some amazing opportunities working for Snap Fans, CCG Hub, trying out a whole bunch of new styles of content for myself as a streamer and a creator, and then getting to now work with Marvel Snap directly on a variety of different videos and projects. And now here we are going Gauntlet. Like, it's been one hell of a journey. And I'm just consistently grateful that it has allowed me to succeed as a creator in some capacity that people can at least enjoy and mildly respect. In regards to something about myself, people don't realize that I'm 6'5", because we all sit in a chair. And these guys can attest that is 100% true. And it always shocks people when they see me or when they hear me say it because I'm seated. And then they're like, oh, you're a big dude. I'm like, you're damn right I am. So there you go. There's my something.
You are.
My little something extra.
And you're not gangly large either. You're just a large human.
Yes.
You know, some people that are just tall and they're lanky. Like, you're not. Yeah. I mean, you have long appendages, but I mean, like, you're just a tall dude and like pause.
Well, now it's that kind of stream.
No.
All right, sweetie.
All right, I won't talk again.
Yes, no, you're good.
Look how red he got. That was great.
I know. Pause all the way. Talking about your long appendixes.
Super Tech God, so Gunny can de-blush a bit there.
Yeah.
Super Tech God. Your response.
So for me, getting into Marvel Snap was basically one of my first games I ever decided to stream or get into content about. I've been playing games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And other card games, but seeing IGN's video about Marvel Snap, a card game that's coming out with Marvel characters, I was like, you know, I have to try. I have to get into the beta. I got into the beta on my Android phone, which I had earlier. My daughter threw somewhere because I haven't seen it in a long time. And that Android phone, playing Snap was something special. And then I saw people like Molt and Binks stream it on YouTube, and I was like, these guys are having a blast doing this. You know what? I would love to try this and see how it goes. And sure enough, I started streaming the game, and we're here now, right? Being able to do videos for a second dinner, being able to meet amazing people like Guest Gunny and all the others. You know, shout out to Power On, SnapCon, all these wonderful events from this one game, and I'm like, wow, all these great opportunities. So for me, getting into this game was phenomenal, was great. And again, if anybody out there listening and watching, if you see something and you want to try something, never too late to try. Dive in. Might like what happens next. So for me, I'm happy that this actually came together. Now, as far as technology goes, I've been in IT forever. 9/11 was my orientation day for college, going for my degrees in networking, computer networking, etc. So I've been doing IT even before that. But the advice I'll give any young one right now is two things. Cybersecurity is still huge. Cloud infrastructure is still huge. Definitely focus on that. But also AI is becoming a big thing. And being able to get security and cybersecurity around AI, I don't think anybody's really been focusing on. So I think that's the goal to go, because no matter what, you giving your AI your data, you need to make it sure it's private and secure. So focus on that realm. If this was 2-3 years ago, I would say get into coding. Coding is still needed, but I've seen a lot of jobs switch, give AI coding jobs, and they're looking to get engineers that can actually build out things. So for me, that would be my advice if you want to get into technology field. And we have another question now from House of Corey. SCG and guest, 2 questions. Did you guys see Superman yet? What did you think of it? I loved what James Gunn is doing with the DCU. Superman felt like a superhero. And more relating to Snap, what character or group are you waiting to see appear in Snap? So I'm going to go first. I did see Superman. I did like the film. Like I said to everybody else, I also saw Fantastic Four, and Fantastic Four beats it by a little bit. Still 2 great films. I did like Superman a lot. I do like the direction James Gunn is taking the DCU. And Superman felt like not a superhero. He felt more relatable. Most of Superman films that we've seen a powerful individual, I guess, hence the name Superman, right? In this film, we see more of a humanized version of him, not Clark Kent, but a humanized version of Superman. And him being a superhero in a different sense of just smashing through things. But, you know, I'm not going to spoil it. You guys check it out. I like the film. And the character I want to see come to Marvel Snap is the Prowler, Miles Morales' uncle. I think he'd be a cool, different type of card, whether it be destroy and like take abilities, right? Like I always said that, like I think his power should be he plays in a lane or he moves like Spider-Man 2099 and destroys a card and take their ability or something like that. You know what I mean? I think that'd be pretty cool. Do some type of Prowler animation. And he uses technology, so it's like it'd be cool if he did that, right? Attack, you lose, you know, the card gets destroyed, or the card loses power, and then he takes the ability or something like that. You know, another type of Red Guardian, but instead of losing the power, it goes over to the Prowler. Yes, how about you?
I have not seen Superman yet, unfortunately. Life has gotten in the way. So that and Fantastic Four are on the like need to see list for as soon as possible. And it's for both my wife and I, we're both in the same boat there. In regards to what character or group am I waiting for in Snap? I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are 2 characters that I want in Snap. I want Happy Hogan and I want Ned.
Yes, you did say that.
I want Ned, and I thought more about it too. I think Ned needs to be a hybrid of Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, where he's like a 4-cost card and has both effects. He pushes a card away like Spider-Man would, but then also brings the most powerful card over to his location as well. So it's like it's messing with the inability to, you know, be related to both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I think that would be a really fun card. he needs to be there. What about you, Gunny? Who do you want?
Yeah, but I say Gunny. Yeah, Gunny can answer that question.
Unfortunately, I don't watch movies, so that's on me.
Well, right.
But I think it'd be really fun to see a civilian character brought into Marvel Snap, and some way that you have to like protect the civilian, and it does something for you. I have no idea how that would work, but just like, could you imagine? So like, what are superheroes for? That are here to protect civilians. So I wonder if they could do that, or maybe even a location. I don't know, but just like something with a civilian mechanic where you're protecting this asset.
An Aunt May.
That could be Happy Hogan. Yeah.
Oh, Happy 100%. Hogan, right? Yeah.
He's just a commoner, you know? It could be that.
Yeah. But just something like that I think would be really cool. Like having a location or a character that your entire goal is to protect them. Maybe like winning that lane does something for you. I don't know. That could be cool.
No, I like it. And it has to be a one cost, so you got to protect it, right? You got to make sure you have the armor there or the Kyra. I mean, listen, I like that. That'd be something interesting. I could see that
as a location, definitely, where it just kind of like Monster Island, the location appears, and it's just like, you know, the civilian appears. If this civilian is destroyed, moved, or afflicted in any manner, you know, this location, you lose 8 power, you know, something crazy big like that. Like I could see that as a unique style location, but I don't know about an actual card individually that you need to protect. And if you do, it gets plus 10, you know, like something crazy in that sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. But if you don't protect it and you lose the power or something, right? Like that would be
like, I wonder if they can make a mechanic that like counts the number of heroes or villains you have in your deck. And then like whatever one's greater, you have a hero or a villain deck. And then that matters for what the civilian is, either destroying the civilian or protecting it.
You have to assign for one card. You have to assign a role basically to every single card in Marvel Snap, and there's a lot of anti-heroes.
Because there's a lot of people who are like, you're right.
Who's in between?
All right. I concede that.
I'm just gonna final off saying the Jennifer Kill conversation me and guests had was flawless that week. Like somebody said, Jennifer Kill is 100% slept on. I said the same thing. She will make 5 costs even better, guys. So, you know, we'll make 5 costs great. But the breakdown that me and guests had, when to use Kale versus when to use Psylocke, we definitely got some respect for that because it makes sense. So for me,
agreed.
I think guests had a great point. We challenge you guys to ask questions that you want to know the answers to, that you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
By myself, guessing, and even Gunny. Why not? We'll send it over to Gunny. He'll answer for you. Don't you worry. All right. But anything else you guys want to say before we sign off?
Anything from the live crowd?
Kafinanapa. If you know what that is,
that's great.
Leave it in the comments.
You go. All right, guys. With that note, peace.